07 StarCitizens, X-Wings X speaking. StarCitizens 1.0 is twinkling on the horizon. That's the last sentence written by the letter from the chairman Chris Roberts, received last night, the 14th of March 2024. And this video is dedicated to try to create a summary about what, at least to me, is of most relevance, importance to talk and speak to when it comes to this letter. Of course, the letters will be linked down below in the description of the videos. If you intend and wish and want to read the full letter, I really recommend it because it's worth. There's a lot of good information in it, a lot of information clarifying things and laying things out in a nice and very concise manner. The letter starts out with one of the bigger milestones in the development of StarCitizen, which is the persistent entity streaming, in short PES, which is absolutely at the most foundational foundation of the server mentioned. And this was released back in 3.18, and you might remember 3.18 was a very challenging patch to play with. It was released with the Theno threat, at the same time with Invictus, at the same time with a free flight week. So we had issues back then when it comes to our experience as player, because, well, the desyncs that happened, minute-long desyncs that happened back then, it was very, very nerve-stretching experience that we had from our side as alpha testers, which we still are as players of this game. From the developer side, it was absolutely important to have that, and it was a huge step and reached a milestone to get to where this vision of the game wanted to go, which is still the seamless transitions from server to servers with a massive amount of players at the same time. And we came closer to this step through that very rough patch we had back in 3.18. A lot more very long expected things were happening in 23 as well, which contributes to the implementation of salvage, the hull stripping, the structural component, the repairs, and new relevant missions. The trader routes that are changed, the physicalized cargo session, and many other things spanning the PvE plus PvP scenarios. And now in 2024, a next huge milestone was achieved on the weekend of the 9th and the 10th of March, where the first person jumped seamlessly from Stanton to Pyro in the Evocati testing scenario. And this was big as well because there was at the same moment 350 players in the same single shard. Means a replication layer with 2 servers connected, which set a new record for concurrent players in a single instance in StarCitizen. That's amazing news. Further in the letter, the CTO, Benoit Bonjour, speaks to a couple of things, and he looks back what was introduced with all the streaming capabilities of the Star engine, like client-side object container streaming, and then server-side objects container streaming, progressing to the persistent entity streaming that we have since 3.18, and which is another foundation to go forward to support the MMO level populations in a high fidelity game environment of a large magnitude, which StarCitizen is and will be. So the next release is the replication layer, which comes with 3.23, which is a big thing because that's the foundation, so then the server mashing afterwards can happen. So for now, when we experience 30Ks, we just need to log in again, and meanwhile finding our ship and our cargo safe in our primary residence, which wasn't all the time like this. I remember losing I don't know how many SUs of Quantinium somewhere in the halo of the void of a server after 30K, and just going and starting all over the mining again. And this will not happen anymore as soon as this server replication layer is fully implemented, and I quote, directly here, Benoit Bonjour, a 30k will no longer cause immediate disconnection but gracefully recover, allowing you to continue to play. Gracefully is in brackets, by the way, so we'll see what happens with that gracefully, but I trust very well that it goes well and we will not drop out and we can play forwards, because based on what I saw so far, yes, it took time to get where we wanted to get, but we get there. And we're getting on a strong and fast pace right now. And the replication layer is the foundation then for multi-server mesh in StarCitizen 4.0, where then as well Pyro will be introduced and we will be able as a player to seamlessly transit from standard to Pyro through the jump gates. Man, that's gonna be amazing. And the game shards will allow as well more players to play together at the same time. Remember, 350 players, the new record that was set on the weekend of the 9th to 10th of March in 2024, will be fully in the game then with StarCitizen 4.0. And of course, there will be more foes in there as well. So stop the whining right now. Yes, it is an MMO. And like in real life, sometimes bad things happen to good people. Yet, StarCitizen 4.0 will not be the final destination. Chris writes pretty clearly that there is no definite finish line of this MMO, because there will always be adding new features, new content for many years to come. But StarCitizen 1.0, which is the sparkling star we are heading to next, the thing that shines on the horizon, would represent the commercial release. This means that the game is welcoming new players in a stable and polished way in us gameplay with content to engage players continuously. In other words, StarCitizen 1.0 will be no longer alpha or early access. Another huge milestone in 2023, so the letter goes on, was Squadron 42 to be feature complete, which makes as well a possibility to bring in stuff and created features from Squadron 42 into the persistent universe and accelerate the development of StarCitizen. So, seeing the steps clearer now, how we get to 3.3 and then to StarCitizen 4.0, which will introduce more systems, seamless transition, server meshing, transitioning to Pyro, and hopefully more very soon. There is another roadmap introduced, which Rich Tyrer, the senior game director, and Chris Roberts work together and they oversee that one to get to StarCitizen 1.0. Rich Tyrer was the game director of Squadron 42, and with the feature complete in last year's development of Squadron 42, the decision was to give these new roles and overseeing both projects to StarCitizen 1.0. And it's been said and written here, it's not a move back to the drawing board. It means that Chris and Rich Tyrer overseeing the creation of a roadmap that takes us to 1.0 and outlines all the features and content we need, and as much importance, the ones that will come after full release. So that's quite a bit thing to do, in my opinion, because laying out a roadmap is one thing, but they're trying to put in what will come, what will be added in future, to have actually a foundation and build a way that this is actually possible, and then not suddenly the whole game needs to change because new things coming in. That's a pretty big thing to do. Hearing all that, we want to see the roadmap. Give it to us. It's written in the letter of the chairman, Chris Roberts, that as soon as this roadmap is validated, they will share the vision and as well the strategic outlines of it with all of us. And that will be somewhere later this year. So soon we have a plan on when StarCitizen comes to be to the commercial release, and I'm very excited to hear that. It will take some more time. Again, it's just the release of the roadmap, not the release of StarCitizen 1.0. But I want to see that roadmap, and I'm very happy that we're getting there. Very exciting. Thank you so much to the developers. Thank you much to all of us testers that we are keep on testing and moving forward with what is. This was X-Wings X speaking, and if this video was helpful, please like, subscribe, and comment your opinions and your seeings on it. I'm always glad to have a conversation. 07 StarCitizens.